It is the second new movie in the month of February for Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and I'm super excited to talk about. I'm really just excited that we get 2 in the month because, like I said before, Hallmark Movies and Mystery has been giving us more movies and mysteries, and I'm really excited that we get 2 this month. Hey movie enthusiast, my name is Candra and welcome back to my channel. So before I get into the spoilers and my thoughts about the show and themes and all of those things, I wanted to give you a synopsis of what this movie is about. So here we go. Crime series actress Hadley Warner retires to a small town where she encounters her first real case. Using her TV crime knowledge, she teams up with Detective Sean Caden to solve the case. Let's talk about the formula of Hallmark's cozy mysteries. It's usually murder, some hijinks to solve that murder, and heartwarming moments. And so when it comes to whether or not CrimeTime Freefall fell into that formula, I would say it definitely did. The heartwarming moment or aspect of this show, or excuse me, of this movie, is Hadley and her kids becoming this crime-solving family and just them coming together in a new space and learning how to navigate their new normal. Second piece of it is the love interest. Like, there's always got to be somebody in love with somebody, or, you know, feelings, some crush or something. And so we see Hadley and Detective Sean, something budding in between the two of them. She's definitely prone to hijinks in the way where she just kind of finds herself in these situations that it's just like, girl, do better. Or like, girl, really? The scene that I'm thinking of specifically is the trivia night. The trivia night scene where everybody's supposed to be writing down the answers and she keep yelling them out. I'm like, girl, do you not know how to follow directions? But again, this gets more into her personality and we're going to talk about that later. So let's talk about the movie's themes and messages. So I think beyond the mystery itself, I found 3 specific themes that we can really deep dive into about CrimeTime Freefall. So the 3 themes that I found was finding a new normal, strained relationships, and shiny object syndrome. And so let's start with new normal. So we see that Hadley is this famous movie star on this show that's been on TV for 10 years and it's getting canceled. And so to reimagine her new world or get into this new normal, she moves away from Hollywood. We see there's an adjustment period for Hadley herself, because she keeps calling the name of her assistant that we have never seen this entire movie. No assistant to be found, but yes, she keeps calling the assistant's name, so she's now having to lean on herself to do the things that, you know, normal people do. Like making coffee. Also, she's adjusting to this life as not a superstar. So being in Hollywood, everyone knows you, especially when you got this show on TV and it's very infamous and famous and all these things. But she's moving to a small town where some people do know and recognize her, but some people don't. But yes, so that new normal was one piece. But we also see that with her kids. Her kids are, again, grew up in Hollywood. Hollywood is not normal in any sense of the word. If you grew up in a place where you have famous parents and you get all of these privileges because of her celebrity status, and then you go from that to a place where nobody knows you, they continue to dress and be the people that they are without feeling the need to tone down themselves, which I absolutely love, and eventually they find their people. But we find them struggling trying to fit in. But the one thing I think that really ties in this, even though they're all navigating this new space, this new city, this new school, this new adjustment to regular life, Hadley, their theme is where we are Wherever we are is home. I love that Hadley keeps reinforcing that throughout the movie. So it's like, regardless of what's happening externally, regardless of what this new status is, we are still a family unit, and wherever we are is home. The second like overall theme that I see in this movie is strained relationships. So we see that Hadley and her mom has a kind of strained relationship, even though they're still like, Hadley mom takes a lot of jabs at Hadley and her career choices, and we see that kind of puts a strain on their relationship, in the sense where, you know, maybe the reason why Hadley stayed away for so long is because her mom makes her feel insecure, like makes all of these jabs about her job. With Hadley's mom, we see her, instead of using her words and explaining how she felt and identifying those emotions and sharing it with Hadley, she turned it into a passive aggressive relationship, which could really, if I was Hadley, I'd be like, girl, bye. Since you think this little job of mine is not okay, then I'm just going to be away. But you know, some people are better than me. We also see a strained relationship between Sam, the dead guy, and his partner Anson. And so when we come into this movie, Anson is looking for Sam, putting up these wanted posters, but as we get more into the investigation, we realize that Sam and Anson were having a strained relationship as well, which is why Anson became a suspect in his murder. So the strained relationship we see there is that Sam and Anson own a consulting firm together, and they both have their own ideas of what the next direction for the company should go. And because they are butting heads, there is strain there. And one could even foresee, if Sam didn't die, that the company would eventually splinter, because Sam wanted to go this way, Anson wanted to go that way. We also see another strain between Sam and his wife, which is why she is also a suspect. His wife's name is Jen. So we see throughout this episode that there's clearly something budding or starting to bud while Sam was still alive between Jen and Anson, that's leading towards an affair. And maybe Sam sensed that, and that caused strain in his relationship with Jen. And so this is again why she becomes a suspect, because the wife is now cheating on the dead guy with the best friend / business partner. The final theme that I want to talk about here is shiny object syndrome, because that is ultimately the reason for the killer to be revealed. The reason why the killer decided to get revenge is because of shiny object syndrome. And that's basically this idea that anytime something newer, edgier, flashier, younger comes along, we are going to grab our attention on that. Like, whatever we're doing over here doesn't look as shiny as this new thing, and we're just going to keep hopping from new thing to new thing to new thing, because that's what grabs our attention. And so Hadley talked about how the whole purpose of Hadley moving to Colorado is because the network wanted something more shiny, flashy, or edgy, so they canceled the show after 10 years. And so the nature of Hollywood, you're constantly competing for what's new, what's fresh, what's young. And so Hadley doesn't fit that idea anymore, so her show was canceled. And then we come to the killer. Steve McGowan is in the security field, and he was recommended for firing by Sam and Anson's company, because the securities game is a young person's game. And so Steven was likely fired because they wanted to keep the newer, fresher faces. And so this is reason why he came for his revenge. Like, first of all, I lost my livelihood, but secondly, I'm still good at this. And I think that the issue that I have with shiny object syndrome is, like, newer isn't always better. I think the way that we defeat shiny object syndrome is if we stay fresh, if we accept change, because life is all about change. And if you're not willing to change, then you're gonna be out. I think think this was an excellent mystery because I usually guess who the killer is by the 4th commercial break. And let me tell you, friends, I was guessing up until the end because this whole time I was thinking it was either Anson or the wife Jen. I was so convinced. The way that they like laid out all the clues, I was like, it gotta be them. It gotta be them. And then at the last second, when Hadley realizes, when I realized, I was like, oh, dang. I was completely off. And I watched it again to see like if I missed something that I did not see the first time. And I know after watching it the second time, I knew I wouldn't have gotten it in. I still didn't get it. I was like, I still wouldn't have gotten this. So good job, Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, for getting a good mystery through. Like, I was hooked because I was just like, well, now who is it? Because that's what I kept saying. I was like, well, it's clearly not them and it's clearly not Kirk, so who is it? It was the person that we had seen this entire time, Steven. And I should have known, because usually they be doing that too. It's usually the first person you see, but whatever. His band, it was the banjo. Like, who plays, what murderer plays the banjo? I think that's what threw me. It was the banjo music, the CD. I think the way that they used her star power to distract us from Steven to being the murderer, I think was a really good call of how to lay out this plot. So kudos to you, Hallmark. I didn't get this one. So while Hadley is lovable, there were times where she was a lot. She was a bit too much, and the studio said it best at the beginning. They said annoyingly relentless, and I'm just like, yeah, girl, that's you. Or as she also described herself later in the episode as excitable and pushes people away, and I'm just like, yeah, girl, you pushed me away here. There were certain times, like by halfway through the movie, I was just like, okay, girl, okay, oh, we get it. I mean, I guess the good thing about, you know, her being able to identify these traits about her is she's at least she's self-aware, right? She knew when she was being a lie, and she started to calm down in a little bit, but by the end. But I will say that the juxtaposition between Sean's personality and how he handled his investigation versus Hadley was perfect. The way he had approached the investigation, his meticulous details, his notes, he kept checking his notes, writing the notes, fact gathering, compared to Hadley's like sporadic nature and constantly being annoyingly relentless, I think was a good play off to really keep her settled. So on a scale from 1 to 5, I would give this show a 3.5. I would give it a 3.5 because, like I said, the mystery was perfect. I didn't know who it was until the exact time that the main character, Hadley, figured out who it was. But Hadley's personality was the thing that really tanked it for me. I think, hopefully, if they make a new one, I really hope they make another one because I really enjoyed the mystery. They kind of toned her down a little bit. I'm hoping, like, with her being used to in this new normal, not being in Hollywood, being able to get away with the way that she was acting this first episode, we can get to a 5. I think we can get to a 5 if we tone her down just a smidge. So the question that I'm sure you're asking, should you watch CrimeTime Freefall? My answer is absolutely yes. Like I said, the mystery was tough for me in a way that it rarely is for our Hallmark cozy movies. If you watched it, what are your thoughts? Did you like it like I liked it? Did you like Hadley's personality? Like, I'm here to tussle in the comments. So leave me a comment below and let me know what your thoughts about this movie. If you would watch it again, what you speculate if they make a new one. I'm wanting to hear all the things. So thank you all for joining me and watching this dissection of the Hallmark Movies and Mystery CrimeTime Freefall. Can't wait to see what other movies they have in store for us this year. If you did enjoy this review, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and follow me on all platforms to hear more about what I'm thinking. So until next time, see you then. I keep calling it an episode, but like, it's not, it's a movie. I should probably have my notes up. Like, that would be important, right? To have my notes up. if my phone would stop moving, I should just whatever.